This is a continuation of Lesson A. So we'll call this Lesson A the B portion of it. And we're on page 5, and this is talking about absolute values. Now, the only thing you really need to remember about absolute value is an absolute value is a number that tells the distance it is from 0. It's a distance. It's not a place, it's a distance. So if we started at 0 and we went this way and we stopped here, we would say that we went 4. If we started at 0 and we went this way and we stopped here, how far did we go to get there? We also went 4. We went in a negative direction on the number line, but we went 4 in that direction. We also went 4 in the positive direction. And the absolute value symbol looks like this, and we put a number in it. So the absolute value of 4, the distance from 0 that it is to get to 4 is 4. The absolute value to get to negative 4, we went to the left on the number line, which is what the negative represents, but we still went a distance of 4. It's kind of like saying if you're sitting at your house and you're going to McDonald's and it's 4 miles, you rode your bike 4 miles. Now to go back from McDonald's to your house, you don't go a negative 4 miles, it's also 4 miles, it's just in a different direction. So that's why the absolute value of any number is always that number but a positive, is because distances are always positive. Directions can be positive or negative, or east, west, north, or south, but distances to someplace are always positive. So that's just kind of a real brief summary of the idea of what absolute value is. So when you're doing problems with absolute values, you always change the absolute values, get rid of the absolute value signs first, so then you don't have to deal with anything, and then you solve from there. So for example, if I have example A, 0.4, if I have a negative 4 in absolute value sign, so and negative the absolute value of negative 4 minus 2 plus the absolute value of negative 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my absolute values first and then go from there. So the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. This negative here is that one. Minus 2 plus the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So now I have negative 4 minus 2 plus 5. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6 plus 5. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. And I'm done. Okay, so for this example, we notice we don't have any absolute value signs, but we have some exponents here that we're going to work on. Alright, so before we even solve this, I do want to review a little bit with you real quick. Whenever you have a number with a negative, and that number is in the parentheses, and then we square it, that means we're going to take whatever's in the parentheses and multiply it by itself. So we're going to take negative 4 times negative 4, and we're going to get a positive 16. If that negative 4 were not in parentheses, what that means is we're going to square the 4 and then put the sign on the answer. So squaring the 4 is 16, and then we put the minus or the negative sign on the answer. This again tells us direction. So key thing that students make a mistake with all the time is trying to figure out if the difference between those two. So you'll just have to keep practicing and get used to doing those. Alright, so let's look back up here at this top one. It says negative 2, and everything in the parenthesis we're going to cube. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And then we're going to multiply it by negative 2 again. So that's going to give us negative 8. So this here is going to give us negative 8. And then it says take minus 2 squared. So it's going to be minus 4 because, again, we're only squaring the 2 here. The minus is not in a parenthesis with the 2, so we don't do anything with that. Then we're going to do minus, and that's this minus right there. Negative 2 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So at this point we've just simplified the original problem up here to -8 minus 4 minus 4. Alright, so -8 minus 4 is -12. And then we'll put this minus 4 here and do that next. And we get -16 for our answer. Alright, so that's it for lesson A.